The laugh came first, low and careless, spoken in a language he was sure no one around him understood. It was a kind of laugh that carried entitlement, the kind that assumed power was permanent and superiority invisible. In a crowded, upscale restaurant in the United States, a billionaire believed he was untouchable as he mocked the young waitress serving his table. What he did not know was that the woman standing quietly beside him carried a past far deeper than her apron, and a voice that would soon turn his confidence into stunned silence. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories where humility defeats arrogance, take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs a reminder about respect, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps meaningful stories reach the hearts that need them. Her name was Anna Keller, a Christian woman in her late 20s with calm eyes and a gentle demeanor that often made people underestimate her. To most customers, she was just another waitress balancing plates and refilling glasses in a polished restaurant filled with soft lighting and quiet music. They saw her uniform, her careful steps, and assumed they knew her entire story. Few ever wondered what she carried behind her silence. Anna had not always lived this life. She was born in the United States, but her childhood was shaped by two worlds. Her parents were immigrants from Germany, deeply faithful people who believed in hard work, humility, and education. At home, German was spoken as naturally as prayer before meals. Her father, once a respected engineer, died suddenly when Anna was 17. Her mother followed a few years later after a long illness that drained both their savings and their strength. Overnight, Anna went from a promising college student to a young woman carrying grief, debt, and responsibility alone. She worked wherever she could to survive. Dreams were postponed, not abandoned, but survival came first. Waiting tables paid the bills and kept a roof over her head. She never complained. Her faith taught her that dignity did not come from titles or wealth, but from character. That evening, the restaurant was filled with influential guests attending a private business event. One table stood out, not because it was louder than the rest, but because of the confidence that radiated from the man seated at its center. Richard Coleman, a self-made billionaire known for his sharp mind and sharper ego, was accustomed to rooms bending to his presence. He traveled the world, spoke multiple languages, and rarely questioned whether his words carried consequences. As Anna approached his table, she sensed his impatience. She moved efficiently, professionally, doing her job with quiet precision. When a small delay occurred in the kitchen, Richard leaned back and muttered a comment in German, mocking her intelligence and appearance, assuming no one around him would understand. He smirked, enjoying the private cruelty of words he believed were invisible. Anna heard every syllable. Her heart tightened, not in anger, but in sadness. She had heard those tones before. She remembered professors who dismissed her after her father's death when her grades slipped, employers who looked past her potential, and strangers who mistook kindness for weakness. For a moment, the old ache returned, but it did not stay. She finished serving the table without reaction. Her hands did not shake. Her expression remained calm. But something inside her shifted. Years of humility, sacrifice, and quiet endurance had prepared her for this moment more than she realized. As the evening progressed, Richard continued his behavior, occasionally slipping comments in German, amused by his own cleverness. Each time, Anna responded only with professionalism. Other guests noticed attention, though they did not understand its source. The room carried an unspoken discomfort, as if something inevitable was approaching. When dessert was served and the atmosphere relaxed, Anna stood beside the table one last time to ensure everything was satisfactory. The moment felt heavy, charged with unsaid truth. And then, with steady grace, she spoke. She responded in fluent, elegant German. Not defensively, not angrily. She addressed his comments calmly, correcting his assumptions, acknowledging his words, and reminding him, with dignity, that intelligence and worth were not measured by wealth or status. Her tone was respectful, her posture composed. She spoke as someone who knew exactly who she was. The effect was immediate. Richard froze. His confidence drained from his face as realization struck. The language he used as a shield had failed him. The private mockery he believed safe had been fully understood. Around the table, silence fell. The power dynamic shifted in an instant, not through humiliation, but truth. Anna did not linger. She finished her sentence, wished the table a pleasant evening, and walked away. Her heart raced, but her spirit felt light. She had not spoken to wound, but to reclaim her dignity. Word spread quietly through the room. Some guests looked at Anna with new respect. Others reflected uncomfortably on their own behavior. Richard sat still, the weight of the moment settling over him. For perhaps the first time in years, he was forced to confront himself without wealth to protect him. Later that night, as the restaurant emptied and the lights dimmed, Anna continued her work, unsure what consequences might follow. She did not regret her words. She trusted God with the outcome. The next day, something unexpected happened. The restaurant manager called her into the office, his expression unreadable. Anna braced herself. Instead of reprimand, she received news that Richard Coleman had returned earlier that morning asking about her. He requested to speak with her personally. When she met him, he was different, stripped of performance, stripped of arrogance. He apologized, not as a billionaire, but as a man confronted by his own failure. He admitted that her response had unsettled him, not because she embarrassed him, but because she showed him a mirror he had avoided for years. He offered not just an apology, but an opportunity. Richard had ties to educational foundations and scholarship programs. After learning about Anna's interrupted studies, he offered to help her return to school. No conditions, no publicity. Anna accepted, not because of his wealth, but because she believed in redemption and growth. Her life began to change, slowly and steadily. She returned to college, studying linguistics and social work, determined to help others whose voices were overlooked. She continued working part-time, grounded by the same humility that carried her through loss. The restaurant remained a place of memory, not shame. Richard, for his part, began changing as well. Those who knew him noticed a quieter presence, a man more careful with words, more aware of those around him. One moment of truth had planted a seed that money never could. Years later, Anna would look back on that night, not as a victory, but a turning point, a reminder that grace, when paired with courage, has the power to reshape lives. She never sought to prove anyone wrong. She simply chose to stand in truth. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that respect matters and humility can change even the hardest hearts, please like this video, share it with someone who needs this message, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that inspire and heal. Before this story ends, leave a comment below sharing what this moment taught you, or write one word that represents dignity to you. Because sometimes the most powerful response is not loud or angry, but calm, truthful, and spoken in a language the heart cannot ignore.